Hi, I'm Jason Fowler with LeafFreak.com again, and today we're taking a look at one of the longest named cigars probably around. This is the Flor Dominicana Ligero, Cabinet Oscuro in natural, and this is the L400 size. The L400 size is a 5 3/4 length by 54 ring gauge. It's an Ecuadorian Sumatran wrapper with a Dominican binder and filler. The construction looks good. We've got a triple cap that's been done pretty well. Very, very oily, shiny wrapper. About as oily as I've seen. Texture is really nice. It's got a lot of tooth. Very lumpy. Seams are very visible, but tight. The veins there's a lot of veins, a lot of prominent veins. It's dense, meaning for its weight, it's heavy, but it feels a little soft, a little spongy. But we'll light it up and see what we think, and we'll be back here in a few. All right, pre-light aromas I forgot to add were barnyard and leather, definitely in there. Right away, just unbelievably rich, very rich smoke coming off this. Just rich leather and wood with just a very subtle background of spice. It just hangs there, and this film in your mouth, really nice. Very full-bodied. Good start. We'll check back in a few, follow up. All right, we're about 10 minutes in, and I thought I'd give an update. Burning pretty quickly. Flaky ash. Draw is really smooth, nice, just perfect amount of resistance, no problems there. Adequate smoke output, not been a problem. Flavors have been very intense and rich. That's the best way I can put it. There's some hickory smoked flavors almost in there every once in a while, and oily leather that has been there since the pre-light aroma, and some very subtle spice that, it's not, I expected a lot more pepper out of it, but that's okay. There's enough there to keep it interesting, but nothing that's going to scare anyone off. So it's a good start, and we'll check back here in a few to see how it's going. About 25 minutes in, excuse me if I'm getting delirious, my temperature monitor up here on the deck says it's 105 out here, and I believe it. It is absolutely brutal. Not the best conditions for smoking. But anyway, flavors has not transitioned a whole lot. It's gotten a little bit creamier. Spice has tapered off some, not as much there. There wasn't a whole lot to begin with, but I'm getting molasses a little bit in the finish, and it's a nice long finish that hangs around, and that oily film just reminds you, hey, you're smoking a pretty stout cigar, so that's going well. Performance has been fine. A little bit of a flaky ash, but other than that, completely adequate smoke output continues. Draw has been really good. Not a really bright white ash or anything like that, but no complaints. That full-bodiedness, like I said, just is definitely hanging in there. So we'll keep going, and we'll check back in a few, and I'll let you know how it's going. Okay, we're about the 45-minute mark, and I thought I'd give an update. It's getting a little spongy and a little soft. I think that's more to do with the ambient temperature and humidity, though, than anything else. I don't think it's really a quality issue of the cigar. Ash has dropped off in a couple of nice sized chunks. Despite being a little flaky, it's held on really well. Flavors have, maintained pretty much the same profile as they originally did. It's a little bit of sweetness in there, and that pepper has kind of stayed where it's at now for a while. It's very balanced, though, not anything that's, stealing the show by any stretch. So performance issues have all been fine, other than that I had a relight, and I think, given the oiliness of the wrapper, I think that might have something to do with it. Again, it may have something to do with the temperature, so I'm really not going to fault it too much in that area. But it's going well. We'll check back in a few, and I will conclude and wrap up with final thoughts. All right, we're about the hour mark, and I'm going to be putting this down because it's getting a little warm for me. But overall, I'd say construction has been well above average. It's done very well given the conditions here. Had that one minor relight, which wasn't really an issue. It was very minor. I think that if it was, 80 degrees out here and normal levels of humidity that were not swamp-like, it would probably do fine and wouldn't require that. Flavors have been very rich and intense and full-bodied and in your face and interesting and complex. Not a lot of transition there, but again, they were good, so a lot of change isn't really necessary. But I'm going to recommend this. I would recommend also that you have a meal before you try it, though. I think that is probably a necessity given the flavors and just the intensity of it. So I'm Jason Fowler with LeafFreak.com. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook, and keep the hot end out, and we'll see you next time.